how we should see him. Just to introduce these things, and we will go into the subject matters in more depth later on in the Sunday program. I think the class is meant to begin, what is it? At 11, right, okay. So we'll go into the subject more in depth then and tell some more pastimes and so on like that. But for the time being, let us just try to understand and appreciate Lord Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda. Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna. So we will read then, first of all, from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela, Chapter 1, the Spiritual Masters. And we'll begin by reading verse 7. Okay. Sankarshana Karana Toya Shayi Garbhada Shayi Cha Payobdi Shayi Sheshascha Yasyangsa Kalasa Nitya Nandakya Rama Sharanam Mamasto. Translation. May Sri Nityananda Ram be the object of my constant remembrance. Sankarshan, Sheshanag, and the Vishnus who lie on the Karana ocean, Garbha ocean, and ocean of milk are his plenary portions, and the portions of his plenary portions. So let us just point out something important and interesting here is that as we read, this is the very first chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and this is verse 7, so we're right in the very beginning of this quite vast literature. And an important part of this first chapter is that there are a number of verses, in fact, basically the first so many verses in this chapter, and therefore in the whole book, which are defining first of all, who is Lord Chaitanya in 6 verses, then who is Lord Nityananda in 5 verses, then who is Advaita Gadadhar like this in some more verses. And this is just really establishing clearly who is who and the positions of these transcendental personalities. So we'll read a few of these verses here. This is the first verse explaining who is Lord Nityananda. There are 5, as we mentioned. So we'll read a few. We'll see. Maybe we'll read all 5. We'll see how it goes. But this one's very important, that the author, Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he understands what I should do, what I must do. First thing I must remember, Lord Nityananda. This is the perfection of remembrance, to remember Lord Nityananda. And who is he? Well, even such personalities, extraordinary personalities as Lord Sankarshan, Sheshanag, Anantashesh, and the three Vishnus in this material world, Karanadakshay Vishnu, Garbhadakshay Vishnu, Kshiradakshay Vishnu. They are his plenary portions, is the term used, as a translation of the Sanskrit or Bengali or actually Sanskrit term, Angsha. Angsha, yes. They are his Angshas. And of course, as we said, that particular term has been translated as plenary portion. Plenary basically means full, actually. It means full. Angsha, in the most literal sense, of course it can be taken in that sense, full, but Angsha really, in a more general sense, technically speaking, means a partial, a part, even like a limb. A limb can be taken to be the angsha of a person. So in other words, when it's being said that these different personalities are his plenary portions, Hare Krishna, it's not exactly meaning that they're just totally equal to him and him or them. It just doesn't make any difference whatsoever. Of course, it's all part of Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva, oneness and difference. So definitely oneness is there. They're forms of him, and therefore they must be taken most seriously and dealt with most respectfully. But there are differences also. There are differences. They're not quite the same. They're not the same. He is on a higher level. So, yes, higher than these Sankarshan, Sheshanag, and the three Vishnus within this material world. So they're his Angshas and Kalas. Angsha is like a limb in a literal sense, and Kala would mean a part of a limb, like a hand. A limb is the arm, the hand is a part of the arm. Some sort of point like this. And it's focusing on Lord Nityananda. Sa, he, Nityanandakya. The term has been divided in two, actually, between the third line and the fourth line of the verse. And so you might not have heard Nityananda being specifically spoken, because these lines have been divided up. Sheshascha yas yangsakala sanitya nandakya. So, Lord Nityananda, Nityanandakya Rama, Lord Nityananda, who's also referred to as Rama, or a direct form of Lord Balaram. Let's carry on and read one or two, or however many, More verses. Mayati te vyapi vaikuntaloke purnaishvarye shri chaturvyuha madhye rupam yasyo bhati sankarshanakyam tam Shri Nityananda Ramam prapadye. I surrender unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Ram, who is known as Sankarshan in the midst of the Chaturvyuha, consisting of Vasudeva, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Aniruddha. He possesses full opulences and resides in Vaikuntha Loka, far beyond the material creation. He possesses full opulences, not partial, but full opulences. And in the word for word, it's interesting actually, this term, Sri Nityananda Ramam, it has been translated as to Lord Balaram in the form of Lord Nityananda. Prapadye, I surrender. In text 9, Mayar Bharta Janda Sangashrayanga Shete Sakshat Karanam Bodhi Madhye Yasyai Kamsa Shri Puman Adi Devas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Shri Nityananda Ram, whose partial representation, called Karana Dakshai Vishnu, lying on the Karana ocean, is the original Purusha, the master of the illusory energy and the shelter of all the universes. So here, Karana Dakshai Vishnu is referred to in the, it's actually Sanskrit in fact, Eka Angsha, one portion, which has been presented in the translation itself of the verse as partial representation, known as Karana Dakshai Vishnu. Yes, Yam Sham Shah Shri Srila Garbhodashayi Yanabyabjam Loka Sangata Nalam Lokasrashtu Sutika Dhamma Datus Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my full obeisances unto the feet of Shri Nityananda Ram, a partial part of whom is Garbhodakshai Vishnu. From the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu sprouts the lotus, that is the birthplace of Brahma, the engineer of the universe. The stem of that lotus is the resting place of the multitude of planets. And why not just read on and read the fifth of these 5 definitive verses? It's text 11 here. Yes, yes, Yam Sham Shamsha Paratmakila Nam Poshta Vishnur Bhati Dugabdi Shayi Kshoni Bharta Yatkala Sopyanantas Tam Shri Nityananda Ramam Prapadye. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the feet of Shri Nityananda Ram, whose secondary part is the Vishnu lying in the ocean of milk. That Kshirodakshaya Vishnu is the supersoul of all living entities and the maintainer of all the universes. Sheshanaga is his further subpart. So let's just say a few words here by way of introduction, and we will carry on at 11 o'clock. Yeah. Nama Om Vishnu Vadai Krishna Prestad Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pastyachadeshatarne Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Yes, so Sri Nityananda Prabhu, it is his appearance day to day. It is the most glorious and joyful day for celebrating our good fortune, for glorifying him in his great mercy. Shri Shri Dal Nitai Gaura Hari Ke. Yes, celebrating our good fortune, that despite our lack of qualifications and despite our possessing a multitude of disqualifications, we have managed to obtain some mercy, even of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, actually, in order to be here together today. One can only be here today by the mercy. That's all. One cannot force one's way into the company of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yes, today is for that. Appreciating Lord Nityananda, appreciating our good fortune, remembering him, and trying to appreciate and understand his position, his importance in our lives, as far as we're able, which devotees is not very far. Here, well, in the fourth of these 5 verses, just before the verse we just last read, there's a glorification of Lord Nityananda as being the source of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, from whose navel comes the lotus flower, the stem, and at the top of it, the flower, the lotus flower, which is the place of Lord Brahma, who is the engineer of the universe and the head of our sampradaya. So, and it is said that all living entities, at least at the time of creation, are in the stem of the lotus flower. And I was not personally present. In fact, I hadn't even joined the movement. But in 1972, in London, one devotee, Ravatnandan Swami, asked Srila Prabhupada, well, this particular point about Kshirodakshai Vishnu, lotus flower, stem, lotus flower, living entities, he was having a discussion with Srila Prabhupada about this, and the point was made that before the planets are manifested and then populated, all the living entities are in the stem of the lotus flower. And this devotee, Ravatnandan Swami, he asked Srila Prabhupada, how can we understand this? That all living entities are within the stem of the lotus flower, coming from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu. How can we understand this? Srila Prabhupada's answer was, it is too much for your puppy brain. And this was the talk of the British Yatra when I joined, because it had just happened. I mean, just some weeks before or something like that. Oh, it was the buzz going around how Prabhupada had made that point. So, if that's too much for our puppy brains, just, the goings on of the stem of the lotus flower coming from the navel of Garbhodakshai Vishnu, who is just a small part of Lord Nityananda, how are we going to just understand Lord Nityananda? We're not going to. But as far as we're able, we should try to. And in that way, appreciate. Appreciation which can lead or should lead to gratitude. It's a very important part of Krishna consciousness. If there's no appreciation, how could there really be gratitude? If it's just something official, technical type of idea. But where there's appreciation, there can be gratitude. And gratitude is such an important part of Krishna consciousness. Such an important part. And particularly for the little ones with the puppy brains. Yeah, some of us might even have pre-puppy brains, but at best we have puppy brains. So, but the perspective, you could say, is that at the end of Madhya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, there's a series of very beautiful verses. They are just very beautiful, with a different meter to your typical Chaitanya Charitamrita verse. Actually, the meter is the same as that which we use, at least for the song Sri Guru Charana Padma. And they're really just outstanding. And in one of them, the author, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, makes the point. Of course, he's talking about Lord Chaitanya and not Lord Nityananda specifically, but it's, as they say, sometimes it's kind of the same difference. But he says that the ocean of the pastimes of the Lord is unlimited. So how will I be able to really, take it all in? And he says, but what I will do, I will try to drink from that ocean as far as I am able. Yes. And this should be our approach, that we're talking about very big people here. In fact, the magnitude is way, this is the idea, isn't it? Just way beyond our capacity to assimilate. But still we should try and do it as much as we're able. And when we do it as much as we're really able, then that will sort of be enough for us. You can only eat so much, you can only drink so much. And even though there may be vast amounts of wonderful prasadam or water or different drinkables, you can only drink as much or eat as much as you can, and that's it. And there's no point, certainly in material sense, there's no point in trying to eat more than you can eat. In that case, it'll be detrimental. But in this case, of course, it's transcendental. But just as much as we're able, and that will be enough, and we'll be fully satisfied. Prabhupada once, you may remember Dina Bandhu Prabhu from Vrindavan. He may be coming back after a while. But he likes to sort of, you could say, imitate Srila Prabhupada in saying, Prabhupada would say on a few occasions, fully satisfied. That's really full. Just full, well, but fully satisfied. That's very full. So, yes, on this occasion particularly, but actually it applies every day, we should try to appreciate Lord Nityananda as much as we can, because the role he has already played in our lives is just, we cannot quantify it. It's beyond our abilities. But just let us say that without that, we would be literally nowhere other than in material existence. And it would not be nice. It would really not be nice. It would like fully not be nice. So, yeah. So we should try to appreciate, even though his glories are unlimited, but we should try to drink from that ocean as much as possible. Learn about Lord Nityananda. Yes. And learn what he did, what he didn't do, different things, things which happened in his pastimes. Yes. And this day is just the best opportunity for doing that. So who is Lord Nityananda then? Well, of course, he is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Specifically, as we mentioned and as is stated here kind of even on a few occasions, he is an expansion or a form of Lord Balaram, who is the first expansion of Lord Krishna. That is the connection. So, therefore, he's addressed here as Nityananda Ram. Not just Nityananda. Like we said in the beginning, these five verses are definitive. They are defining the subject matter of the book. The verses about Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and the other verses, Advaita, etc. They are definitive. So they are like the foundation. And without a foundation, the building cannot and will not stand. It will not. You know, I go to Russia. In fact, we just returned yesterday. And Satchikamar Mahaprabhu may have noticed this also. But in some places in Russia, kind of out, Siberia and more, not even remote, but just a little more distant areas. Back in the old days, they built houses out of wood, means logs. Yeah, the walls are just logs piled on top of each other. But interesting point, in many cases, they didn't use foundations. They just put the logs on the ground and then put the next one on top and built a house. As a result, some of these houses, you see them, they are on angles of different types. Some just left to right, some front to back, some left to right and front to back. It's quite amusing sometimes. They're still standing. But generally a house with no foundations, at best it'll go wonky. It'll really go wonky. And at worst it'll just fall over, actually. Yes, so Lord Nityananda is one of these great foundations in our Krishna consciousness, and Lord Chaitanya, of course. These personalities, the Panchatattva, they are great foundations, And without a relationship with them, your Krishna consciousness goes wonky. And this we find when we look at the other sampradayas. We were recently in November in South India, and we were visiting for about some days at least, different old temples of the Sri Sampradaya from Lakshmi Devi, very ancient temples with very ancient deities. Nobody really knows how ancient, but they don't know about what to speak of, understand, appreciate like that. Who is Lord Chaitanya? Who is Lord Nityananda? As a result, they're a little wonky. They're Vaishnavas. They're Vaishnavas. We respect them as Vaishnavas. But Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur makes the point in his literature, I think it's about the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama, he makes the point that after some time, these other sampradayas will enter into the sampradaya of Lord Chaitanya. Yes, because they'll just reach a certain point and they'll see that not able to go further, but they'll see the sampradaya, the devotees of Lord Chaitanya, how they have gone much further. And as a result, they will become members. Yeah. And it will in fact be a step up. Yes. So, without going into details, this is the fact, actually, because they don't have that foundation. They don't have that foundation. So Lord Nityananda is there, such an important part of the foundation. He is a form of Lord Balaram, just as Lord Chaitanya is a form of Lord Krishna, as is stated, in fact, in Chaitanya Bhagavat. Sri Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya Balaram Hoilo Nitai. Is that the right verse? Balaram. Anyway, that Lord Chaitanya is the combined form of Radha and Krishna. And what is it? Okay, that's another verse. Brajendra Nanda say, Sachi Sutta Hoilo say, Balaram Hoilo Nitai. There are a few verses. So, Lord Balaram is not like Garbhadaksha Vishnu, Kshiradaksha Vishnu, etc., the different Sankarshan, different transcendental personalities mentioned here as being angsas or kalas, some lesser partial form. Lord Chaitanya is not a lesser partial form of Lord Krishna. He's directly Krishna himself. And from time to time, Lord Chaitanya would show that. For example, he showed to Ramananda Roy. He appeared as Radha and Krishna, because that's actually who he is. And Lord Nityananda, there were occasions when he did that also. He manifested the form of Lord Balaram. There are a number of occasions. So they're not in that, Lord Chaitanya, Lord Nityananda, they're not in that lesser type of position, even though it's far higher than our position. It's just totally higher. But still, compared to Krishna, lesser. They're not in any type of lesser position as Sankarshan, Anantashesh, Karandakshay Vishnu, etc. Not. Actually, just the same person has manifested another form, and all the attributes, all the qualities, everything is present. It's just the same person appearing with a different colored form and a form which looks somewhat different. Otherwise, same person. In a sense, just like here we are, devotees, in the temple, and we are manifesting, so to speak, our devotee forms. At least we have devotee clothes on and tilak. But tomorrow, when you go to work, as I imagine some of you will not go like this. Am I right, Mr. Policeman? It would just be, it wouldn't work in a work sense. So you're appearing, in a sense, in different forms, or at least in different ways, although it's you. And sometimes some people, when they see you in your work dress, or some other, if you're going to some occasion, some public occasion, government occasion, and then they see you like this, they may not recognize. I remember many years ago when we were raising funds to build Radharanath Temple, we were flying to Mauritius for the installation of the deities there. And there was one man sitting just across, somewhere very close to us. And there we are, and we looked at him and we recognized him as the manager of one of the big shopping malls where we used to do fundraising in Cape Town. He's like the big chief. But we were dressed as devotees on the plane. In the shopping malls, we were dressed in sort of ordinary, everyday garb. And we thought, wow, what's going to happen if he sees us and recognizes us? Is he going to stop us raising funds in the shopping mall? But he didn't recognize us. He looked at us a few times, didn't say a word, although we knew him. And we met him again sometime later when we went to the shopping mall. And he said, you know what? Were you on the plane? It sort of started to click. So, yeah. So we have different manifestations of ourselves. And sometimes they may not be so easily recognizable, perhaps. But still we're the same persons. We cannot, though, manifest different actual forms as such. Just change our appearance, clothes, maybe hairstyle if you're a woman, or if you just have long hair. But when it comes to Krishna, he can manifest a different form. Totally different, completely different, but it's actually him. It's actually him in person, not another person, depending on his particular mood. So Lord Nityananda, well, first of all, Lord Balaram, in relation to Lord Krishna, he is completely, he's equal to Lord Krishna. And Lord Nityananda, in relation to Lord Balaram, he is the same person. He's just the same person, not less. He's the same person. However, there's a difference too, but it's a more subtle. It's a more subtle difference. The difference is in consciousness or attitude. That Lord Balaram, of course, he's the Supreme Lord. He's very merciful. He's very merciful to the conditioned souls. But Lord Nityananda, as a form of Lord Balaram, is taking that aspect of the nature of Lord Balaram and really developing it very, very strongly and very greatly. And therefore, Lord Nityananda, in his activities, was much more merciful than Lord Balaram or Lord Krishna. Yes, that is the particular feature of difference. And it's not exactly a difference. It's just a difference in the sense that he is showing it more. He is showing it more. It's not that Lord Balaram is lacking mercy for the conditioned souls. He has it. But he's not showing it so prominently. But Lord Nityananda is showing that mercy very prominently. Just as we have different moods at different times, depending on what's going on. So Lord Nityananda, what's going on is there's a mission to deliver the most fallen conditioned souls. So in terms of what's going on, he is now showing that part of his nature much more. And other parts of his nature, like Balaram, kill demons. Most significantly, Dhenukasura and Pralambasura. But he killed others too. He killed Dvivida, the gorilla. And he killed others. But Lord Nityananda, that aspect, he didn't show. It's there within him. It's just part of who he is. But he didn't display it at all. Nityananda didn't kill a single person. Balaram killed many demons. So like that, just different mood, same person, same personality, same character, same psychology, you could say, same emotions. It's the same person, just the same person. But because of the mission, because of what is going on, what is happening, what the program is, certain parts of his nature, they're not manifest much, or if at all in some cases. But this mercy aspect, it is there fully on display, fully on display. And therefore, Lord Nityananda was responsible for the deliverance of Jagai and Madai. They're famous for having been the worst. And indeed, Lord Chaitanya was going to kill them. But Lord Nityananda, he appealed to Lord Chaitanya, please don't kill them. Give them to me. I will look after them, I will train them and change them. And so Lord Chaitanya agreed and said, all right, they are yours. You deal with them. So he was responsible in that sense for the deliverance of Jagai and Madai, even though Lord Chaitanya was going to kill them. Yeah. So therefore it said that demon who Lord Ramachandra would kill, at least in many cases, Lord Krishna would spare his life. That demon, though, who Lord Krishna would kill, and he killed so many, Lord Chaitanya would spare his life. And the classic example was Kamsa, who was killed by Krishna, who then became the Chandkazi in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes, and who they were going to kill him. But Lord Chaitanya decided no. And he spared his life and sort of made him into something of a devotee. But that demon who Lord Chaitanya would kill, Lord Nityananda would not only spare his life, but give him Krishna Prema. And the example is Jagai and Madai, and particularly Madai, who was the one who actually attacked physically Lord Nityananda. So these are very important things to just bear in mind. Lord Nityananda, because Lord Nityananda is in the mood of being a devotee of Lord Chaitanya, a follower, a servant of Lord Chaitanya, then as a good servant, Lord Nityananda really tried his best to understand what is the mood of my master. What does my master want? And then make it his mission, his business in life to fulfill the desires of his master. This is a good servant. And therefore, Lord Nityananda, because he knew Lord Chaitanya is descended to be Patitapavan, deliverer of the fallen, he was always looking, where are the fallen ones? There's that one, no, not fallen enough. I need someone more fallen. Yeah. And he was always asking around, where can I find the dacoits and just the low-class ones? And when he heard in that pastime of the deliverance of Jagai and Madai, when he heard about these two, he was not aware of them, but then he was moving around town from one area to another, and someone warned him, don't go into the next area, because that's the place of Jagai and Madai, and they are just really bad. And Lord Nityananda immediately said, where are they? Tell me where to find them. I'm going there now. And he did. Yeah. So therefore he was even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. Even though Lord Chaitanya is there to give mercy, and for nothing else really, just to deliver the Kali Yuga people. But Lord Nityananda, in the mood of being his servant, he would even go further. He would even go further than Lord Chaitanya. He would, when he heard about Jagai and Madai, he thought and he said that our master, Lord Chaitanya, he's Patita Pavan. So we definitely have to deliver these two. Because if we can't, how can my Lord be called Patita Pavan? If he can't deliver them. So we have to. So he was often looking for the worst, and the worse than worst, the worstest, the most worstest. Yeah. In that mood, for the glory, then our Lord Chaitanya will be glorified more. So even people who Lord Chaitanya was not interested in delivering, Lord Nityananda was very interested, and he did. Yes. So this is a little introduction to Lord Nityananda. Today is his appearance day. We should go before Lord Nityananda and pray to him that you are the most merciful, even more merciful than Lord Chaitanya. Without your mercy, we cannot even really get the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. What to speak of the mercy of Krishna? So please, on this day, on your appearance day, please be kind. Please be kind. Help me to become a real devotee, a proper devotee. Help me to become a proper servant of your Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Hare Krishna. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ke. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ke. Sri Nityananda Prabhu Ke. Go Premanande. Hare Krishna. We will continue at 11. At 11, we will continue. Hari Bol. That's all for the time being.